Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ahil Sayed, and I'm the president of the Student Leadership Council.
My name is Angelica Lim, and I'm the vice president of the Student Leadership Council. And we would like to welcome everyone today to our candidate forum for the 2025 student body elections.
Today, we are joined by students running for the 2025-2026 Student Leadership Council positions of Student Trustee and Student Leadership Council Officer. Our forum will have three parts: opening statements, questions from students, and closing statements. We welcome questions that you can write down on note cards and hand to our ushers in the back of the room, and we will attempt to include as many questions as possible during the forum.
During our opening statements, each candidate will have 3 minutes to respond. During questions, candidates will have a minute to answer each question. One of our SOC officers will be a timekeeper for today, Carson Fenney.
Hello everyone, my name is Carson Fenney and I'm helping with timekeeping in order for us to stay on track. I will show the green card for you to begin, the yellow card for halfway, and the red card for when time is up.
To all the candidates, all the very best from our behalf.
And just a reminder, our opening statements will be 3 minutes long, our questions will be 1 minute long, and our closing statements will be 1 minute long. We will now begin with our opening statements, and now we have our trustee and officer candidate, followed up by our officer candidates in ballot order. First, we have Isabella Luna Escobar.
Hello everyone, my name is Isabella Escobar, but you can call me Luna. I'm currently in my second year here at College of DuPage studying political science. Today, I stand before you not just as a candidate for officer and student trustee of the Student Leadership Council, but as a fellow student who believes in the power of our collective voices. The time to act is now. The challenges we face as students, whether academic, financial, or social, are real. And they require leaders who are willing to listen, advocate, and fight for meaningful change. More than ever, we need young leaders who are passionate, driven, and unafraid to challenge the status quo. Our generation is not just the future, we are the present. And we have the power to shape our experience here at COD in a way that benefits everyone. My vision is simple: to unite COD and ensure that students are not just seen, but heard. Too often, students feel disconnected from decision-making processes that directly impact their education and campus life. I want to change that. I want to create stronger channels of communication between students and administration, ensuring that our perspectives are not only acknowledged, but actively considered in shaping policies and initiatives. Transparency is key. Representation is essential. Action is necessary. As your officer and student trustee, I will advocate for policies and prioritize student success, mental health, campus involvement, and overall well-being. I want to push for greater student representation in leadership meetings, advocate for resources that make education more accessible, and create initiatives that foster a stronger sense of belonging on campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Luna, for your statement. Now we will move on to Kristen Lopez, our first in officer ballot order.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Kristen Joyce Lopez, but you can call me just Kristen, and this is my second semester here at COD. I'm currently pursuing an Associate's in Arts as a psychology major. Although I am in the psychology field, I have great interest and involvement in political science. There are a multitude of topics that I want to further educate myself in, and I love to learn more, and take myself out of my comfort zone to learn. I'm someone that loves to push myself and to truly push to do more. I may be a busy person, but I am purposeful with what I do, and I decide to delegate my time toward. I involve myself with many things, not just things to keep myself busy, but because I want to engage myself in things that I genuinely care about. If you learn anything from me today, it's this. Regardless or not if I get into this position as officer, I will continue to be making a change on campus. My interest in advocacy didn't just start yesterday. The summer after I finished high school, I was able to intern with the state representative. The part that drew me to this job was the constituents, as cliche as that may sound. I put myself out of my comfort zone by canvassing, going to constituents' houses and promoting a survey so they can tell us more about the issues that they care about. I'm currently a congressional intern for a congressman, and my main objective is being the main point of contact between constituents and the congressman. Throughout these experiences, I've been able to learn a variety of different perspectives. And one of the strengths that I would bring to this team is my ability to listen and to be able to hear what these people are and listen to who they actually are. Through my political work, you speak with people who may or may not agree with you, and that's okay. I welcome differing opinions and perspectives, and although I may have my own opinions and my own ways of viewing things, I want to be able to listen to different views to strengthen both my own viewpoints, and if my opinion changes, so be it, but if that strengthens it, that's okay as well, because the biggest part of that is communication and understanding who you're working with and representing. I'm great and comfortable with public speaking and have utilized those skills through my high school speech team for multiple years, but also doing that through COD Votes, which is something through SLC, where I've been able to educate students on how to use their voice when it comes to voting for the things that they believe in. Although I've only spent around one full semester here at COD, I've greatly involved myself in students' life. I've become a student rep in September, and I credit a lot of my growth as a person throughout that. I'm currently president and founder of COD Cares as well, which is a club and initiative through COD, and through that I've been able to kind of kickstart something into being something that's bigger to engage more students and be able to include more people, because I want to be able to do with my work, be able to benefit not only current students now, but being able to benefit people through years to come. So I have another thing that I want to bring to attention is just my ability on judgment, and also being able to be honest with my feedback and being detailed and being just very, very trustable when it comes to that as well. And I can work under pressure as well with time constraints. I was a part of the process with the presidential search committee where I was able to use my analysis skills while also being able to evaluate 4 different candidates and give my honest feedback.
Thank you, Kristen, for your statement. We will now move on to our next candidate, which is Rima Shah.
Hello everyone, my name is Rima Shah and I am a first-year music business student here at the College of DuPage. I believe that advocating for clear, easily accessible resources can help students make informed decisions about their education, involvement, and opportunities. My mission is to beneficially impact students' education and time at COD to make their journey easier and more enjoyable. Over the past year, I have developed valuable leadership skills through my involvement in various initiatives. These experiences have strengthened my ability to communicate effectively, collaborate with diverse groups, and take initiative in problem solving. I have learned that the importance of listening to student concerns, advocating for meaningful change, and working towards solutions that benefit everyone. I am currently running for Student Leadership Council officer because I am passionate about fostering a supportive and engaging campus environment where all students can thrive. Through this role, I hope to enhance communication between students and administration, promote initiatives that promote access to resources, and create more opportunities for students to grow, connect, and succeed. I understand the challenges students face when navigating college life. I mean, I'm a first-generation student, and I was going to be a parking lot student. And if you don't know what that means, it's someone who went straight to classes and straight back to the parking lot and right back home. And I have honestly learned so much about COD and how much it has to offer, and so much more than normal community colleges, which I was honestly not expecting when I came here. And I really hope to be able to ensure that students are able to see these resources and ensure that students are able to be supported and have the information that they need to succeed at COD. I would honestly be honored to be entrusted with the privilege to serve all of you and continue making COD a better place for all of us together. Thank you.
Thank you, Rima. Moving on to our last candidate, we have Benjamin Lang.
Semester here at COD, and I'm currently a computer science major, and I plan to transfer to Lewis University after my time here. I'm running for student officer, not only to engage students with more extracurriculars on campus, but to leave behind a more positive impact on COD. I believe that the student body should always try and voice their concerns to student council in order to make COD a more efficient and amicable place for all. They should feel as though their voices are being heard and comfortable to speak up whenever they have a concern. When I first started college, my freshman year, I had initially attended the University of Iowa studying business analytics. After my first year there, I became unsure of what interested me academically. I transferred to COD to see if I could set out and find what I was passionate about. At first, I was slow to become a part of campus life here, but throughout the past 4 semesters, I had become part of the computer science club, even becoming vice president, In the previous semester, I was a part of the poll worker project to help students become more civically engaged. Going from such a large university to COD, it was hard not to feel like I was going through high school again. COD is much more tight-knit and smaller than my previous school, but I don't see the size of COD as its detriment. I see it as its strength. The personal community of COD made me at least feel much more valued as a student and a community member. However, as I said before, I was slow to acclimate to COD student life. Perhaps it was my apathy at the time, but once I was able to join a few clubs on campus, I met some fantastic people and had some great experiences. When I think of how I want to improve student engagement, I think of the expression, "We can lead a horse to water, we can't teach it to drink." I believe it's up to members of clubs and club leadership to bring student life to students and to show students why they should be encouraged to join. Students should want to have a reason to join clubs, whether that's meeting new people, working on projects, or creating new experiences. Students should want to become more involved at COD and not feel like they have to. To be entrusted with such a responsibility is to know that the student body has faith in me. If I were elected, I would make it my duty to show students that COD can be all they want it to be and more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, and let's give it up for our wonderful candidates for their opening statements.
Thank you, everyone. Now we will move on to our questioning phase. Just a reminder, each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question. Our questions will be asked to all candidates, and we will begin with Ben Lang and work our way backwards. The first question that we have for you all is, what are your leadership strengths and how do you identify with them, and how would you describe your leadership style?
I'd say my primary leadership strength is collaboration. As I said before, I'm currently the vice president of the Computer Science Club, so it's up to me to work with a lot of other members of leadership to make sure that the club accomplishes their goals and to make the club more appealing to students. I think stressing that to work with others is the primary key to success. I think if everyone voices their concerns and makes their opinions heard to other members of leadership, the clubs can progress in a very fascinating way. And I'd say that kind of reflects sort of my openness to others' opinions and my eagerness to always keep improving upon things. Thank you.
One of my biggest strengths, I would say, is being able to collaborate and connect with all the members that I'm working with. I recently worked on the Fall Bazaar last semester, and one of the biggest things that we kind of had to kind of go through, and I would say, is trying to figure out like how we're gonna communicate and how we're gonna bring this big bazaar that we're making and this big opportunity that we have to the students. And one of the biggest judgments I had to make was trying to figure out how to get all these ideas together into one place. And I was like, let's look at it from another perspective. Let's look at it from an outside perspective and see, okay, what ideas do we have? What do we agree on? And what do we say, like, maybe we can move past from? So being able to judge from an outside perspective instead of having my own opinions, I would say, is one of my biggest strengths.
I would say when it comes to leadership, some of my biggest strengths when it comes to it is just being able to listen to different perspectives. I think when it comes to any sort of group, you can't apply the exact same tactics with every single group because that's not going to be applicable to every single person that you work with. So just being able to truly understand who those people are. But I would say some of my strengths when it comes to leadership is my attention to detail. When it comes to things, I typically do things to the best of my ability, and I think of it critically, and I can think on my feet, as well as being able to adapt to change quickly. You can't always predict everything that will happen, and just being able to understand, yes, not everything will go in the way that I expect it to, but being prepared to be able to adapt to change and being able to understand that as well. I would also say with one of my strengths when it comes to leadership is definitely coming with honesty as well. Because when I talk to people and if I'm given an opportunity to speak on an opinion that I do have, I will say it as I think it is. I prefer being told when I receive criticisms or when I give criticisms, I'd rather hear what that person has to say as it is.
I would say my biggest strength is being able to speak, being able to share my thoughts and being able to share exactly where I'm going with my ideas is the best way that I can lead. I'm not afraid of who's in a room. I'm not afraid of voicing anything that comes to my mind, and I'm not afraid of being able to speak for others. On the flip side, I would say that I am a really great listener. I think that overall, everyone has a story. Everyone has an opinion that they need to share. And when you give them the ear, you can learn so much about the way people think and the way that people can contribute to a community. Thank you.
Thank you. Our second question will be, are there some goals that you would passionately work towards as an officer/student trustee? And we could start with Ben and work our way backwards.
Yeah, as I said in my opening statement, I believe that student engagement is one of the primary things to work on. As a member of SLC, I keep bringing up my role in the CS Club, but I feel that it's applicable here as well. Our biggest issue currently is to just get students more engaged in the club and to increase our attendance. So it's very hard for us to kind of come together and say, why would students want to be a part of this? What's in it for them? And I think that is something that can be applied to just other clubs and societies across campus. I think another thing too is advocating more for students who are maybe having a difficult time at school and maybe going through some challenges mentally, and making sure that they feel safe and secure on campus. Thank you.
So one of the things that I also mentioned in my opening statement was being able to have accessibility to resources. I think that a lot of students don't know about how much COD has to offer. Like this community college is probably has more resources than some of the local universities. There are so many resources for students to be engaged, to be able to have opportunities for scholarships, for so many resources, and I want to make sure that students know about those resources and they're able to access them, because as someone who first came here, I also didn't know about many of the resources. As I said, I was going to be a parking lot student. I didn't know that there was so much more to offer, that I want to be able to make sure that students are able to access those resources and be able to enjoy their time here at COD.
When it comes to being an officer, one of the main objectives that I really want to cover is just being able to actually make establishments and connections with different clubs that are on campus. Typically at SLC meetings, you typically see the same people coming around, but it's important to be able to reach out to more than just those people that show up to the meetings. It's important to build some sort of connection with the different clubs on campus, and a variety of them as well, because it's important to understand the people that you're representing. The first part of Student Leadership Council officer is student. If you're not able to talk with the students and they don't feel that they're comfortable enough to have that connection, to bring up an issue that they may have or an opinion that they want you to be aware of, then why would they want to talk to you if they don't feel comfortable enough to do that? So it's important to build that connection so that they feel comfortable going up to you and removing that formality of, yes, I'm a part of SLC, but also understanding I'm here to listen to what you have to say, and I'm not just here for the position. I'm also here to hear what your story is, what you have for me to say, and to advocate on your behalf.
As student trustee and as student officer, I would make it my personal mission to outreach to students. Similar to what Kristen said, it's important to make sure that students know that they have a voice here on campus. When I first started here, I didn't know what the purpose of Student Leadership Council was. I didn't even know it existed. I didn't know that my ideas and input was so highly valued and so important that they created an organization to encapsulate that. I want to assure students that they have a place to speak their mind and express themselves in a safe environment, and not just understand that even though I'm an officer, I'm still a student. I still relate, I still have my troubles as well, and we can work together on our issues. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Our next question is, we have many diverse perspectives at COD. What is a strategy you have used to help bridge a divide on a team? And we will start this question with our student trustee candidate and move our way down the ballot order.
So I'm involved in a lot of clubs and organizations here on campus. I'm president of Latinos Unidos, I'm vice president of Fine Art Studios, I'm secretary of Business HQ, and I'm the operations officer for the Chaparral Activities Board. I, every single day, have to face different opinions. I have to face pushback, I have to face challenges, and I'm not afraid of that. I think that when we are afraid or when we shut down after someone disagrees with us, that weakens you, that weakens your presence, and it weakens your voice. I deal with it by creating compromise, by problem solving, by working around, okay, I hear you, and let's hear me as well. Let's work together to create solutions. Thank you.
Can you restate the question?
Yeah. Sorry, give me 1 second. We have many diverse perspectives at COD. What is a strategy you have used to help bridge a divide on a team?
I would say that I've worked a lot with this, especially with my work in politics, because you identify as a specific part when it comes to that. But you meet so many different people, and sometimes there's going to be people that do agree with you. Some people are going to disagree with you. Maybe some people just don't know how they view on a specific topic. But bridging that divide of having that kind of differing opinions, I welcome that. Because if you're not able to disagree with people on the team and you don't feel comfortable enough to do that, it's not good to have that on the team. You should be able to feel comfortable enough on the team to feel comfortable that you can bring up a differing opinion and bring that up still, and to bring up a concern. It's something that's really important, because if you can't have that open conversation, that's how I would tackle it. Having that open conversation, not tackling each other's characters or going for that, but going for the problem at face value, seeing what the problem is and acknowledging this is what we all believe in, and try to find some sort of common ground and understand we don't always have to agree, but we have to listen to what the other person has to say. Thank you.
So I mentioned that I was working in Fall Bazaar last semester, and we brought together so many different culture groups. We brought together ASA, Latinos Unidos, BSA, UNICEF. We brought together so many different perspectives, so many different people, and obviously we were going to have differing ideas, because everybody wanted to make sure that they're able to be represented and to be heard in this big bazaar that we're throwing together, that we're bringing together the whole community. And one thing that I really liked that we worked on was being able to see a problem at face value. Like, what problem do we have and what do we agree on? Looking at it from an outside perspective, seeing like, okay, so these are the few things that we agree on. These are what we don't agree on. What can we compromise on? Compromise, I think that it's the most important way and the best way to deal with different ideas and
As Kristen said previously, it is definitely important to work together in not only school environments, but work and civic environments as well. When I was a part of the Poll Worker Project, it was very clear that we needed to work with other people who were across the political spectrum in order to achieve a common goal, to become more civically engaged in the voting process. I think it also should be stressed that it's important to get everyone's voices heard. So if you want to really come to a correct conflict resolution, you have to make sure that everyone is being heard, even people who we might not even assume of or think of at first. Maybe, reaching out to them and seeing if they have anything to add or anything they want to improve upon is something that I think would go a long way in terms of coming to a consensus. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I have the next question, and this is a combination of the previous question that you asked, but is separated into two parts. The first part is, what changes do you hope to make, and how would they change the status quo? The second question will be, why do they think that change needs to be made, and why would they think they would be able to do so since efforts have been already made? And we'll start with the student trustee and go in ballot order.
I'm sorry, can you please repeat the question?
Yeah. So it's, what changes do you hope to make, and how would they change the status quo? And why do you think change should be made, even though efforts have been already, since efforts have already been made? And so why would you think that these changes will be made even though efforts have already been started?
Mm-hmm. I think a grand issue here on campus is the lack of advertisement or the lack of people knowing what is happening on campus. As Rima said in her opening statement, I believe, there's so much that campus has to offer that so many of us don't know about. I recently learned from a friend of mine that we used to have childcare for parents who were students here, and it was removed. That's something I want to reestablish here on campus, is a place where people can have their kids taken care of. How can we, as Student Leadership Council, support every student, right? How can we make sure that every student is heard, if not every student is being taken care of? That is a change I would like to make, is make sure every student is taken care of.
Piggybacking off of what Luna had said, I would say that advertising is a very big issue when it comes to COD, especially at least with the experiences that I've had when it has come to tabling, when it's come to if you've ever walked past the cafeteria and someone's trying to talk to you about maybe a club that they're trying to prevent or maybe a different event. That typically is, when it comes to SLC at least, that's typically near the cafeteria of all places. It's typically in the BIC, and we need to be able to outreach to more students, maybe seeing if it's possible to go to different buildings that are here on campus. Because the people in the BIC, there are a lot of people that are active in student life, but that's not the only people that are here in COD in general. If I'm remembering this correctly, there's a total of 26,000 students that were here last year, and only 400 of them voted in the election. And that's not good. Students need to feel that whatever they have to say in terms of a vote actually does matter, and feeling that whatever they have to say is important, and that is an important change that needs to be made, making sure that students are aware of what's going on campus and that they're aware of everything.
So one of the initiatives that I really wanted to promote was students being able to access the resources that are here at COD. I think that so many students don't know about resources like discounts, like Office 365. People don't know about it because they're on a bookstore website. That people don't know about the bookstore website. People don't know about Student Leadership Council because they're in the MAC, and we don't promote in the MAC as much. We don't table there. We don't go over there and tell them, hey, we have an event coming up. You should come join us, because there are so many communities here at COD that are completely untouched because we haven't been promoting to them. And that's also what our other candidates have also been saying, and it's a really big issue because we should be able to connect with all the students here, not just the people who are at the SRC, not just the people who are in the BIC, but everyone, the people at satellite campuses, the people in the MAC, people in other buildings, and I think that would be my initiative.
Yeah, similar to what everyone else echoed here, I think being open about the resources COD has to offer, and it serving as sort of a jumping off point for maybe your academic or your work career, I think would be a great thing for students to know. So yeah, I agree, advertising and making sure that students are aware of activities and societies and events on campus is a really important thing. But I believe it's important to make those changes because COD will be here after we've gone on in life, and other students will keep coming in. So it's important to make sure that you're not only thinking about the current time and what you can do for students now, but also leave a legacy for those after, and to follow your example in the future, so that they can continue the cycle and improve COD even after we're gone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your responses. Now we will ask another student question. And this question, we will start off in the opposite of the ballot order, the reverse ballot order. The question is, what is your opinion on in-person classes versus online? As businesses are discovering face-to-face matters, how can you, if so support, push for more in-person classes?
Yeah, I think one very important thing is to make sure that students know when the registration deadlines are, since a lot of students, for obvious reasons, prefer the in-person classes so that they can meet not only their teachers but classmates as well and form relationships with other students on campus. I think one way to improve that would be to hopefully try and increase our faculty count. The more faculty we have, the more available their courses are, and the more likely a student will want to attend an in-person class rather than online. I also think it's important to stress the community on campus as well. Students, sometimes have to make very long commutes here. So maybe like an online class would be preferable to them, but it's also important to know that there are benefits to in-person classes as well.
I personally think that online classes are very important. There are so many students here who are busy with full-time jobs while still trying to get a college education. And I think it's really important for them to be able to have those online classes. And the only thing that's really bad about online classes is that they're not able to be part of a community. And I think that that's something that we have to push forward, like being able to have resources, being able to have opportunities for those online students to be able to be part of a community, being able to talk to other students here. And I don't think that the online classes are bad. I think that we should be able to give them more opportunities to connect in the community rather than pushing them to take in-person classes that they wouldn't be able to juggle with work, to be able to juggle with having kids, to be able to juggle with being a parent. So I think that that's what's most important about that.
I think something to acknowledge is that not every single student is going to be the exact same when it comes to COD. And through SLC, I've been a part of the enrollment strategy team, which is a committee that's a part of SLC. And through that, we've been able to talk about enrollment when it comes to both in-person, when it also comes to online. But there's a lot of different types of students that are here on campus. Yes, there's some people that come straight out of high school, but there's also people that are non-traditional students, such as what Rima was mentioning. There are people that have kids here. There are people that have full-time jobs, and they still want to pursue education. But pushing for in-person classes, it's dependent on the department itself. It's important to speak to different departments, and through enrollment strategy, I've been able to talk with the deans of departments, and they've been able to talk about they have in-person classes, and this is the benefit of having that. And maybe here are some different problems with that, but being able to talk with both departments, but also being able to see different student perspectives, because everybody's not going to be able to go to online classes. Well, people may be able to go to online classes and prefer that over in-person due to various kinds of reasons.
As the previous candidates have stated, online classes are incredibly convenient. You can log online, do your assignment, log off. There's no classroom to go to. There's no commute to do. I think it's important to acknowledge that this is a community college, and it's not to undermine anyone, but it's important that this is sometimes someone's most convenient for them in terms of their financial situation. Some people don't have the finances to commute, to afford the classes in person. Some of them are outside of district. I think the key is to not only outreach to students, outreach to different departments here on campus, but it's also making it affordable. Making it accessible is incredibly important if we would want more people on campus to take on-campus classes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, our next question is, in the news, there are a lot of report outs of anti-Semitism on college campus recently. My question is twofolded. Do you believe that there is a problem of anti-Semitism or any type of racism or ethnic prejudice on campus? In the second part, if yes, is there a problem? If there is a problem of this nature, is there anything being done about it, or what would you do about it? We will start with Ben, and we will go down.
Yes, so obviously, as the political climate seems to become more divided, there seems to be a lot more reverence for other ethnic groups, and obviously, I do believe anti-Semitism is a big problem, as well as all other forms of racism as well. I'm fortunate enough that I've never had experienced any form of prejudice here on campus. But that doesn't mean that the issue is not happening. For any students who, have run into an issue where they feel as if they're being discriminated against, I think it's important to not only speak to members of, student council and other students as well, but to advocate for themselves in front of the dean of students perhaps, and for other members of faculty, in which more serious repercussions could be,
So I think that there's always going to be some kind of problem, some kind of prejudice that is always going to linger. There's going to be prejudice against different racial groups, different ethnic groups. There always will be. And that is the reality that we live in, but that we can't change that. What we can do is be able to support those people, be able to be open to bring those people in and say, hey, do you need some support? Do you need someone to talk to? And we're open to talk to you. It doesn't matter if they're a different ethnic group. If we don't agree with those ideas, it doesn't matter. We need to be open to support and be able to listen to them, because that is what leaders should do. They should be able to listen. They should be able to support those people. There's always going to be some kind of challenge, but we should be able to be there for those people.
At COD, there's a variety of just groups that are here on campus, and I would say, at least with my experience, I've been able to find a lot of people because I've been able to interact with student life and be able to meet people of different races and ethnicities and even nationalities as well. But just because I've been able to find people here doesn't mean that everybody else has had the same experience. And being able to listen to these students and listening to what they have to say and what they have to share. Because it's sad when people feel that they can't speak up against anybody because nothing would happen. That is not something that should be happening, but it is something that does happen. So being able to be a line of support for these people and making them feel that they're comfortable enough to come up to you with different problems that they have, because it is a problem with everything that's going on right now in the political climate. Everything is changing right now. You can't predict how things are going to turn out, but the thing that is going to stay consistent is being there for the person and being present and being able to genuinely listen to what they have to say. Thank you.
Personally, I have not faced any sort of prejudice towards me while being here on campus. However, that doesn't mean it's not occurring. I personally haven't heard of any situations of that happening, but sometimes you can see it. Sometimes you can see it in terms of the way people socialize or the way people treat each other. I think enforcing and giving emphasis to groups that are here on campus that are to unite diverse people is important. I think clubs are important in terms of bringing people together who are from similar nationalities. I cannot express how much I love Latinos Unidos. It gave me a space to be safe in my race, and it gave me a space to be able to express and explore more. Thank you.
Thank you. And our final question would be, imagine it is the end of your term as an officer or as trustee. How would you measure your success? What would you be most proud of accomplishing during your time in SLC? And we will start with Luna and go down ballot order.
I would measure my success by really looking at how students interact with one another. How are they treating each other? How are they being more open? Are they coming to us a lot more often? Do they feel more comfortable on campus? And that's not something you can really just look at. You would have to talk to them, of course. But I think being able to see connections spark up like that is so incredibly important. And that is how I would measure progress and success with my term on Student Leadership Council. Not because of how many projects I've completed or how many people I've talked to, but because of the impact I've had here on campus. Thank you.
After my time at SLC, I would say that measuring success isn't through the number of achievements that you have or amount of accolades that you may acquire. It's not that. It's quality over quantity. It's being able to establish all these connections with different students, because it's important to foster those connections. And an important thing that at the end of the term, if I do get into this office, I would want to be able to see, are more students comfortable coming up to people of SLC? Because it's been brought up to my own attention that people are a little bit intimidated when it comes to SLC. They don't feel that they can go and talk to us because they feel intimidated. But it's important that in my term of success when it comes to that, is that these people are not intimidated by us, that they see us as an equal. We might have a position, but these people need to feel that the people in positions of power are actually going to pay attention to them and care for them. Thank you.
If I become officer and I come back here to next year, whenever there's the next election, I want to come back and see, what have we done as a team? If I get in, I want to see, did we fill these seats? Do we have people up here who are hoping to lead as we hopefully must have, that people are able to come up to us and say, hey, I am going through something and I may need some help, or come up to us and say, be able to talk to us. I feel like there's not that many people who really know about SLC, and I hope that people know about this resource and are able to come up to us and tell us, hey, there's something that I'm going through and I hope that you can help. So that would be a success in my book.
I know it's been said previously that sometimes achievements can't be measured, and to a certain extent I do agree, but I do think it's important to definitely have a set of goals throughout each semester or throughout the entire year, so that way you always have something you're working to if you're a member of SLC. And as Rima said previously, it's also important to really get more students engaged with SLC and make its presence known here on campus. Another aspect is that part of this role requires a lot of personal growth. So if I'm done with my term, I would hope that I have acquired the necessary skills to go out into whatever my future may be, and bring the skills I gained at SLC with me to improve my connections with others and to grow my academic and work career. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for all your responses to our questions as well as the questions from our students. We have one last question for everyone, and this is a personalized question. And we will begin in ballot order with our student trustee and move on to our officer candidates. Luna, you've held several leadership positions across various clubs at the College of DuPage. Based on your experiences, how would you ensure inclusivity and collaboration on campus if elected?
Once again, I think this ties back to my first answer to the first question that I was asked. Listening. I think being able to listen and being able to understand, even if not on a common ground, is so important. You're going to have disagreements. I'm probably going to have disagreements, like in an hour. And that's fine. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of being able to come together and really hash things out, really get into the nitty-gritty of things, find solutions, find the problems, find the little holes in plans that maybe haven't been fleshed out yet. I think we can come together and really not only hold our diversity on campus, but also be able to produce leaders. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is for Kristen. Considering your extensive background in politics and your role in founding COD Cares Club, how do you plan to utilize your skills to effectively represent and advocate for the needs of COD students?
I would say that I've talked a lot about my background when it comes to politics, but with COD Cares, something that I would really bring into that is I'm able to kind of see something that I can see going farther than it is, something that's bigger than just myself. I'm not just doing things just because I want to add it to a resume, that I want to do certain things, but I'm doing it because I genuinely do care about it. So I'm taking from those perspectives, at least, especially with politics being a very kind of unique kind of experience, but being able to truly not be afraid of going up to people, initiating conversations, and being able to kind of form that line of contact. But with COD Cares, being president and founder of that, I've been working on that since September, and being able to see a vision and to really follow through on it, just because I have a lot of different things going on, but still being able to know what the end goal is. And maybe there will be problems that do arise, but being able to adapt quickly to those environments and just being able to trust myself.
Thank you for your response. Our next question is for Rima Shah. Drawing from your background as a first-generation student and a leader at the College of DuPage, what unique initiatives would you propose to support similar students in navigating educational paths at the College of DuPage?
So, as a first-gen student, one of the biggest struggles that I honestly faced was trying to figure out college life. It is definitely very different from what you would see in a high school, and even though it may be a community college, even though I would say this would be a better experience than a lot of universities, I would say that it is still a struggle to try to figure out where are classes, how do I register? There's so many options, there's so many resources that I don't even know if I can get to all of them. And one of the initiatives that I am trying to start to put together is having a new student guide and being able to guide these students, saying like, hey, welcome new student, this is how you sign up for classes, these are the discounts that you have, these are the websites that you should go to find these resources, like the COD bookstore, the discounts website, anything, so it could make their lives a little bit easier to navigate.
Thank you for your response. And last but not least, Ben. Given your role in the Computer Science Club and involvement with the Poll Worker Project, what specific strategies would you implement to boost student participation and interest in campus activities at the College of DuPage?
One of the things that we've been doing this semester is classroom visits. So looking at reaching out to CIS professors and seeing if any professors would be interested in having members of leadership come and speak with their class. And that hopefully gets at least a couple of students out there and at least interested, since they have that, personal relation. They've seen one of us before, so they kind of know us. I think it's also important to host or to have incentives. The Computer Science Club has projects that students can work on, they can put on their resumes, and they can network and meet with other people who are in the CS field, and that definitely, those connections definitely go a long way in that kind of career path. And I think another thing too is advertising and hosting events. Just making sure that our presence is at least known on campus, and that students can have the necessary information. Thank you.
At this time, we are going to transition into closing statements. Statements will no longer be more than 1 minute. We will begin with the trustee candidate, then proceed to the officer candidates in ballot order, starting off with Luna Escobar.
Before I conclude, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you. Whether you're part of the camera crew, a fellow candidate, or an audience member, your presence here today is what makes College of DuPage a true community. Your engagement, your voices, and your commitment to shaping this campus are what drive meaningful change. But change doesn't happen alone. It requires all of us. Students are willing to step up, speak out, and advocate for what matters. That's why I'm here today. I believe in the power of our voices, and I am committed to ensuring that every student at COD is heard, valued, and empowered. This election is not about choosing a leader. It's about choosing the kind of community that we want to build together. It's about making sure every student feels like they belong, that their concerns matter, and that their voices shape the future of our college. So I ask for your support, not just as a candidate, but as a fellow student who believes in what we can accomplish together. Let's work to create a College of DuPage that truly represents all of us, one where every student has a voice and a place. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we will go in officer candidates, first with Kristen Lopez.
I want to thank all of you for listening to me, and especially at the times when I was kind of speed talking it here. But I really want to say that COD has been a place, as what Rima was saying, I was fully intending to be a student that just came to classes and then went home. We're all commuter students at the end of the day. But it's so important that I've been able to find a community here, but not everybody has had that kind of experience. And it's important to build those connections with different people, but I just really want to appreciate each and one of you for being here. This is a position that I'm not just doing because I want the title or any of that. I'm not running to be an officer just because I want to say, oh, I'm an officer for this. I genuinely want to be involved in this work, and regardless or not if I get into this position, I will still be trying to push to make a change on campus. I was a student rep when I did this, but I started COD Cares. I helped make it into an actual club because it was an initiative here on campus, and I've been able to streamline that into something bigger that students can really benefit from. But thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thank you. Moving on to Rima Shah.
First of all, I want to sincerely thank everyone for your time today, especially the audience who has joined us. I truly appreciate the support. I truly believe that being able to connect with students, especially students who are the ones that are going to be going straight home after classes, those are the people that I want to be able to connect with today and in the future. And if elected, I want to use the leadership skills that I have learned to make sure that these students' voices are heard, to be able to connect with them, to be able to hopefully bring them into student life, to be able to help them see the resources that are here. And it would honestly be an honor to be able to serve in Student Leadership Council for every single one of you. And I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to make a positive impact. Thank you again for so much support.
And finishing off with Ben Lang.
If I were elected to this role, I hope that I would be able to make COD a much more engaged with and welcoming place for all students. Even if I'm not elected, the journey just to get to this point has been a tremendous experience. I've gotten to know so many people better and to work on myself as well. I want to say thank you to the members of the student body who took time to be here today. And I would like to encourage all members of the student body who were not able to attend and who may be watching this on Courier TV to please vote in the election the 12th and 13th. If I am elected, I will make it my duty to advocate for the student body and to make COD a more welcoming place for all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, for your closing statements. This concludes our student body election candidate forum. Let's please put our hands together for all our candidates. On behalf of myself, Angelica Lim, and the entirety of Student Leadership Council, we all thank all the candidates for coming today, and thank you for everyone who was able to attend today.
The student body elections will take place online on chaplife.cod.edu beginning 9 a.m. on Wednesday, March 12, 2025. They will end on Thursday, March 13, 2025 at 11:59 p.m., approximately midnight. Students who are currently enrolled in at least one credit hour at the College of DuPage are eligible to vote and should visit chaplife.cod.edu to access the ballot. Log in with your Blackboard credentials, and with the ballot link will appear on the landing page.
You may vote for one student trustee candidate and up to 6 officer candidates on the ballot. For more information about the election and for full candidate platform statements, please visit cod.edu/student elections. Thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.